Today we are talking to couples who are living apart together, and it's not just celebrities who are doing this. Our next couple says that this arrangement saved their relationship. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Chris. We have known each other since high school.
I've been in serious relationships, but never got married. I thought one day maybe it would come the urge to have children, but it never came, so I just continued working until I quit my job to travel around the world.
I went down the more conventional path. I got married, I have 2 boys, and ended up getting a divorce.
During that time, Facebook was this new thing. So we became friends again.
We just started messaging and we hit it off. The first part of our relationship was intense and happy. It's also a struggle.
We were long distance. I was back in Chicago. He was in New Jersey.
The only time I could go to Chicago was if I used vacation time.
I had my own production company. I could come and go as I pleased. I was spending more and more time there, and the more time I spent there, the less happy I was.
So she'd come in to visit. My priorities were my boys and Lisa, and then work. It was just too much all the time. It led us to eventually breaking up.
I realized I love living alone. Being in someone's presence 24/7 is just too much for me.
I had been basically alone for the first time. It fueled me.
We were technically broken up for about 1.5 years, but we never stopped talking.
We got together over Christmas and just realized, well, what are we doing? How do we make this work?
And it was just that little change in perspective that really helped us. We decided to be together and not let living together be important, but intentionally decide to embrace living apart.
Wow. Please welcome Lisa and Chris to the Tan Fam. You were crying watching your story. What hit your heart?
I mean, I'm so grateful to have come through all of that with Chris, and we've learned so much about ourselves and each other, and we're happy. It's hard to follow Cheryl Relau.
No, you know, but in truth, a lot of people believe, okay, that's a celebrity thing, Cheryl Lee, Ralph, and Vincent Hughes, but you are saying the same language in so many ways. It takes maturity to not fit into the mold that society tells you you're supposed to be in. I said at the top of the show, you want to get judged, talk about your relationship or talk about how you parent, and people will have opinions. How did you, Chris, keep from the opinions of others or what society says is supposed to be a married couple behavior, traditional? How do you keep that from infiltrating?
Sort of not caring.
You don't care. Good. I love that. I love that.
You know, you can't not care what people think, but what's more important to me is our relationship and moving forward and figuring things out, and whether people think of it doesn't matter. And it's funny part is the more I talk about it with people, at first they're very hesitant, like, what are you talking about? How are you doing that? Why aren't you together? And as you talk about it more, they realize, well, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that's something pretty good. So I think there's a lot of converts out there who would like to do it and just don't have the communication skills to do it.
Because that's what it takes. I know at some point, Lisa, you moved from Chicago to Pennsylvania, and that was intentional because you still wanted the distance between the two. How many miles do you live apart?
Now it's like 50,
it's less than
like
an
that.
hour.
It's less than an hour. Yeah. But
how often do you see? Do you have sleepovers?
Yes.
I'm getting very personal. I don't even know. And I'm not that kind of a person, but we're here now.
Yeah. Of course.
You have sleepovers?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have a schedule how often you see one another?
When I was in Chicago, it was more intentional because I was so far away. He had to take time off or to fly. So we made kind of a pact that it was definitely once a month. But when he came, it was almost a week. So we had like a week of a date week where it's like real quality time also that regular couples living together, they have to really be intentional about a date night. And we had a week where he didn't have his kids where we could really spend doing fun things in Chicago.
So when she's been away or you've been away from each other for 2 weeks or a month and you see each other, is it like starting over?
It is in some ways. There's an excitement because it's nice to miss your partner. Yeah. It's nice to have that feeling.
You heard some yes and they're like, yes, nice.
And then there's also the reconnect time. You know, we connect all the time. We're in constant contact through, texting and messaging and calls and whatnot. But being in person with each other is different. And so sometimes there's a little warm-up time, more so for her than me. I'm ready to connect.
They took that answer a whole nother place that I was
what I
thinking.
meant.
But you're ready to connect, and for her, sometimes it's, because I get that.
We're different, and it can be both ways. There are times when she's more ready than I am, and just in our communication pattern and being together and talking and just that comfort level. We have to kind of ease back in sometimes. Sometimes it's a little different now because we're closer together and we see each other more often. Now we can just meet for lunch.
When we come back, we're going to meet a family living apart for the sake of their kids. We'll be right back.